they just didn't have a lot. And they were struggling quite a bit just to pay bills. And, during these struggles and him losing the job, they decide to move to Colorado. Now, this was the end of the world to Lee, which I can understand. When you're at that age and you're going through puberty, you have your friends, and your friends mean everything. So if your parents are trying to move you to another state away from them, that would be the end of the world. So I can see how that must have been for Lee. Also, at the same time, he overheard his parents talking quite a bit about money and finances and all their struggles involving money. So, when I was reading this story, it made a very good point, because despite that not being the child's problem, right? When children hear those things, they take on that stress as well, because they begin to worry, oh gosh, my family's going through a rough spot. They know that you have to have money to pay bills, and you know what I'm saying? So children also start to take on that stress as well. Now, after they had moved and everything, Lee, he had one pair of shoes, and that was it. And with him going through puberty and growing so fast, these shoes no longer fit. The shoes had holes all in them, and the soles of the shoes were separating from the actual sneaker part of the material. So, yeah, it wasn't very good for poor Lee. And, because of this, you can imagine the state of these shoes. That's all he had to wear to school. He didn't know anybody, but his peers end up making fun of Lee and just picking on him because of the shoes. So one day, Lee musters up the strength and he asks his parents, can I please get some new shoes? These don't fit. They're falling apart. They hurt his feet. But his parents, his mom said, I'm sorry, Lee, we're going to have to wait a little bit. We don't have money for that right now. And while this wasn't a true emergency, so to speak, this was an emergency to Lee. I mean, everything he was going through and being made fun of and only having one pair of shoes that were useless pretty much, to him, this was an emergency. And one day comes along and Lee's mother gives him just a little glimmer of hope.